My welcome back to another night of Stick with Koolfrogg. A little behind on my clicking of buttons.
Government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Now the Ukraine, and St. Patrick's name is now Zelensky.
What do we do now?
Back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Fuck Joe Biden.
To go along with this, and I'm seeing through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
I think I got all my buttons pushed.
Got all the important ones.
Yeah, I think so. Welcome back to another night of Stick with Koolfrogg. I do have with me the AmericaShirts. What's going on, man?
Yellow. Oh, nothing much. Just stopping a bunch of babies from being killed every year. That's
Every
good.
year. Every year. It's amazing how many people actually don't realize how many babies die every year to ignorance. It's really upsetting, very disturbing. I'm just checking all my grounds here. I really don't know how to tell if Telegram's actually catching this feed. It's supposed to. I do have it set up to do so. I don't know if it. Really don't know how this works. It's all new to me. Oh.
Is it going through?
Maybe. I'm not positive. No, that's.
Well, at least you're not
wait.
negative.
Cancel. Yeah. It looks like we're actually live over on. Yes, absolutely.
Well, hello, people.
We are live on Telegram. Nice. Oh, okay. So then, being that that's actually working, figure out how to actually mute Telegram so I don't hear myself echoing. And I just heard myself say exactly what I just said. So it could be an interesting night if I'm going to have to listen to myself talk more than once.
That is interesting. That is so.
Oh, shit. Let's see here. So it looks like the YouTube side's actually working. Looks like the Telegram side's working. And now I just have to be sure that the Twitch is actually working. This is kind of interesting. And that's working as well. Okay. So, sorry about the little bit of a delay here at the beginning. It's kind of an interesting new start for me because I'm actually, using a new platform of Telegram. It's not really new. It's something that I've actually had for a while. Anybody that's out there that's paying attention should subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things over here on YouTube. If you don't like the YouTube, you'd rather the Twitch, you can go there. Or you can actually go to Telegram, and you should be able to see us there.
Damn, all Telegram has to do is make a payment processor. Like, dang, they would be set.
Yeah, right? If there's something that we could actually do to monetize over on Telegram, that'd be awesome.
They are really putting the work in there over there at Telegram, I'll say that. They have it basically like Discord now, where you can go and voice chat, you can video chat, text chat, of course, and you can have those group chats that do all of that. You can have it just like Discord. You can have it. Everybody has a camera on. Everybody talks to each other in a group. Same different things. You can share screens, so forth. So got a lot of good things going on over there.
Okay.
That is the alternative to Discord, I will say. That is our alternative to Discord. In case Discord decides to super enforce its rules.
Yeah, this is going to be strange because I'm hearing... Settings... Because I'm hearing... Oh, okay, maybe that fixed it. I hope it didn't ruin it and like you can't hear anything over there at all now. I just kind of changed a little bit of a setting over on the Telegram side. If there's anybody that's out there that can actually check the Telegram side, okay, maybe that come back and let me know. I hope it didn't ruin it. And if it's actually working, hear anything over there at all now. I just kind of changed a little whatever setting over on the Telegram side. If there's anybody that's out there that can actually hear the Telegram for about 7 minutes and let me know. I hope it didn't ruin it. If it's actually working, hear anything over there at all now.
You are echoing.
Just kind of changed a little whatever setting over on the Telegram side. If there's anybody that's out there that can go and hear the Telegram for about 7 minutes and let me know. I hope it didn't ruin it. If it's actually working, hear anything over there at all now. What else do you have changed a little whatever setting over on the Telegram side? Am I echoing now? If there's anybody that's out there that can go and hear the Telegram for about 7 minutes and let me know. I hope it didn't ruin it. If it's actually working, hear anything over there at all now. What else do you have changed a little whatever setting over on the Telegram side? Am I echoing now? If there's anybody that's out there that can go and hear the Telegram we still running into it. I hope it didn't ruin it. If it's actually working out, that's fine. What else do you have changed a little whatever setting over on the Telegram? Am I echoing now? If there's anybody that's out there that can go and hear the Telegram we still running into it. I hope it didn't ruin it. If it's actually working out, that's fine. What else do you have changed a little whatever setting over on the Telegram? Am I echoing now? If there's anybody that's out there that can go and hear the Telegram we still running into it. I hope it didn't ruin it. If it's actually working out, that's fine. What else do you have changed a little whatever setting over on the Telegram?
What the hell just happened?
That sounded...
What the hell was that?
That was so messed up. I just heard like 4 streams going at one time.
Literally, everybody did.
Oh, everybody's hearing that?
Everybody heard this.
What the hell?
That's why I always like silence yourself. Like you just stop. It just kept going.
I really
Is it
don't.
okay now?
Are we okay?
I mean, it's still live. I'm just asking. Like, is it okay on the Telegram?
Can
side?
you hear an echo?
No, it's fine now.
It's
me.
fine. Okay.
Oh, that's
'cause
right. You were never able to.
I'm still catching echoes on my side.
I can hear a very, very slight echo, but it's not that disturbing. I don't think. Okay, yeah, I can hear that. It's not.
Am I echoing now?
I can hear myself just now talking. It's just very slight.
Oh my lord.
Is that because of the Telegram?
So, do I need to remove? Can't. Oh, that's what I'm wondering, if it's the Telegram that's throwing the issue at me.
Wait, did you just hear what I just said?
Yes.
Oh, well, now you're hearing it. Well, you responded to what I said from the echo. Wait, did you just hear what I said? Yes. Oh, now
I don't want to leave the live stream.
Can't you just mute it?
There's no setting to mute the Telegram side. This is just strange. I think I'm just going to have to disconnect it for now. One participant join. It says that I'm still streaming, but I don't hear it anymore. Okay, that's interesting. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that, and we'll try getting going here. Okay, so this is working. This is working. Let's do some stuff here. Okay, we should be back on track here, folks. Sorry about that. Yes, totally sorry. I really didn't expect to throw issues like I was. You are with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just being sure that we're actually still here. So what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to go over some Roe v. Wade stuff or whatever that's actually currently happening. Apparently there was some leak that actually came out. Yeah, thank you. We'll totally get past the... now that we've got past the technical issues, we'll kind of go through this real quick. So this is the Supreme Court resource page. You can actually go and you can actually look up any argument, when it happened, how it happened, what all it went through, whatever. So this is the original that happened, that was argued all the way back in 1972, or re-argued back in 1972, and decided in 1973. So it has been the law of the land for a while. It's things are changing. And I'm super glad that certain things are changing. It's really dependent on how you feel. Some people have like really stark feelings about, oh my God, they're taking away my right on how I feel about, children or whatever. And speaking of children, mine's going to cry in the background. There you go. Perfect. I'm totally against people aborting their children. I have several of my own. Hence the reason why I feel the way I do. Not trying to tell anybody how to feel. That's up to you. So, facts of this case, in 1970, Jane Roe, a fictional name used in the court documents to protect the plaintiff's identity, filed a lawsuit against Henry Wade, the district attorney of Dallas County, Texas, where she resided, challenging a Texas law making abortion illegal except by a doctor's orders to save a woman's life. In her lawsuit, Roe alleged that the state laws were unconstitutionally vague and abridged her right of personal privacy protected by the First, Fourth, Fifth, Ninth, and 14th Amendments.
Yep, they just chose basically like, it's everywhere. Abortion is everywhere.
They're like, just do it, genocide as many children as you possibly can, as soon as you possibly can. Because, it's your right to be able to, kill your children as long as they're under a certain age.
Oh, we're getting to the point where it's not even an age is a requirement anymore. Age is not a requirement anymore.
It's right. We'll get into that a little bit further or whatever. There's quite a bit to actually kind of dig through here. I do have, some 4, 8, 12, 16... almost 20 websites pulled up like I did yesterday or whatever. I know that we went for a few hours, but, we have the time to do it. We're going to try doing it.
Oh, by the way, if anybody can hear us correctly,
looks like I got
Brock
3 viewers.
See that Brock was saying something and somebody else is here?
I seen
that
Brock
was you.
say hello. Right, I said hello to Brock if she's still here.
Yeah, if you're
she's still here, come hold a conversation with us. We'll totally, anybody that's in our chat, we will totally hold a conversation with them, and it can totally change the night. We don't need to go off of everything that I had, initially thought I was going to go off of. We can totally go off the wall. I can invite people in if they want to actually come and actually join the conversations and change the conversations, whatever. Main topic is Scotus, so that's pretty much what we're going to talk about. If you have something that you'd like to add, totally let us know. Let's see here. So the conclusion was inherent to the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment and the fundamental right to privacy that protects a pregnant woman's choice whether to have an abortion. However, the right is balanced against the government's interests in protecting women's health and protecting the potentiality of human life. The Texas law challenged in this case violated this right. Justice Harry Blackmun delivered an opinion for the 7-2 majority of the court. First, the court considered whether the case was moot, concluding that it was not when the subject of litigation is capable of repetition yet evading review. A case need not be dismissed as moot. Pregnancy is a classic justification for the conclusion of non-mootness. The Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment protects against state action the right to privacy, and a woman's right to choose to have an abortion falls within the right to privacy. A state law that broadly prohibits abortion without respect to the stage of pregnancy and other interests violates that right. Although the state has legitimate interest in protecting the health of a pregnant woman and the potentiality of a human life, the relative weight of each of these interests varies over the course of a pregnancy, and the law must account for this variability. And I'm sorry, I don't care how you feel, what you feel, if you want to know my opinion and how I feel about it, the second it's conceived, it's considered a human being. That's my thoughts. If you don't like my thoughts, you don't like my opinions, fine, let me know. Come talk to me and tell me how you think I should change my opinion. Do you have an opinion?
Oh, my being the same.
Yeah, see, exactly. And I'm a older gentleman with multiple children. AmericaShirts is a young man that's as old as my oldest child and has the same feelings as I do, and he has 0 children. That's exactly what we're talking about when we say, how can somebody go to the point of actually killing something? I'm not going to sit there and, tell you what it is, because, some people have different feelings about it. That's totally fine. Come in here, tell me your feelings. We'll hold a conversation about it, and there's no hard feelings at all. I don't, you can feel how you want. I'm not going to tell you can't feel that way. But it's a little kind of disturbing when you find out how many, on a daily basis, children get aborted at all ages. And they want to actually push laws where they're actually up to 10 months outside of being born. That's genocide. That's gross. Very disturbing. Let's see, this continues. This is in the first trimester of pregnancy, the state may not regulate the abortion decision. Only the pregnant woman and her attendant physician can make this decision. In the second trimester, the state may impose regulations on abortion that are reasonably related to the maternal health. In the third trimester, once the fetus reaches the point of viability, the state may regulate abortions or prohibit them entirely, so long as the law contains exceptions for cases when abortion is necessary to save the life or health of the mother, which is totally understandable. If it's something that's going on and it's going to actually hurt either the child or the mother, vice versa, sometimes you have to take drastic measures to actually take care of certain issues so that people don't just die. I get that. But it shouldn't be that the federal government has anything to do with it. Period. It should be up to each individual state, and even then it's maybe a little far. Maybe it should be up to each individual person and their doctor. And yes, I use the word person, so that way you guys out there that think that you can get pregnant, you feel included. Fuck
Oh,
off.
screw them. Screw Bill Gates. So what? He thinks he can be pregnant. Who cares? Musk called you out on it. Sorry. We all know where the pregnant man emoji came from now. Bill Gates. We all know.
Yeah, we all know.
It's all out in the open
exactly
now.
where it came from. So then, I went through the day looking up Roe v. Wade stuff, trying to find different information, and I always have the tendency to go here. I know, take it with a grain of salt, it is Wikipedia. Roe v. Wade was a landmark decision in the U.S. Supreme Court in which the court ruled the Constitution of the United States protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion without excessive government restriction, which is disgusting. I'm totally happy that they're actually trying to turn this over, and they're actually taking away the rights from the federal government to tell you what and how to feel and put it back to the state. This particular article, and that was just the first whatever little blurb, this particular article has been updated as of the last few days because of the stuff that's going on. On May 2nd, 2022, Politico obtained a leaked initial draft of majority opinion penned by Justice Samuel Alito, suggesting that the Supreme Court is poised to overturn Roe and Casey in a pending final decision on Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization. Chief Justice John Roberts confirmed the authenticity of the leaked document in the statement released a day later, although he noted that it does not represent a decision by the court or a final position of any member on the issue of the case. It's not set in stone that it's actually going away. It's not set in stone that it's going to stay either. There's a lot of background to this. I mean, we can go all the way, look at this, all the way back to 1821. I'm not going to read all this, not going to go through it all. You should actually go and you should read about this stuff and actually know what, if you don't know what Roe v. Wade actually is, you're kind of maybe stuck in a box somewhere and you need to crawl out and come join us.
Well, the history of abortion law is that abortion was illegal in just about every single state, from conception until birth, because it's a child. It's just the way it's always been seen. Until then, in Roe versus Wade and these different pushes around that time to make it perfectly legal. And at no point in time in history, you can go back clear to like British common law back in England, even you can go back. Abortion has always been illegal in every sense of the word. Of course, people have, seen maybe practice some technicalities where the punishment isn't as great for a baby if it's not, as they say. And as we'll go on to read, as I read on in the opinion of Alito from that leaked document, they called it the quick, like a baby that is quickened. In other words, a baby that has life, it's kicking in the womb, it can move, it can feel. There were some stipulations in the past that did say that there was a differentiation between a quickened baby, a baby that is, alive and feels and kicks and stuff, and a baby that is not yet there in development. But it's just about every single law that was passed, every single law that was made, pretty well described that any point in time in the pregnancy, an abortion, or the harming or even killing of a mother was considered to be double homicide, or it was considered to be abuse to a mother and a child at the same time. So that's the way that it's always been throughout all of common law, throughout all of history. going back into British common law, and now all of a sudden they just act like everything can be changed because I guess they want to bring back the worship of Moloch and sacrifice humans to the object of the progress of society and all the rest. Anyways, but
No, right? You're fine. I love it. So then, another Wikipedia page, and it says this is the maternal mortality in the United States. So I know it's different across the world, and different things are different, depending on where you go. This is just the United States, and this is maternal mortality refers to the death of a person during their pregnancy or up to a year after the pregnancy has terminated. This metric only includes causes related to their pregnancy and does not include accidental causes. Some sources will define maternal mortality as the death of the person up to 42 days after the pregnancy has ended, instead of 1 year. In 1986, the CDC began tracking pregnancy-related deaths to gather information and determine what was causing these deaths by creating a pregnancy-related mortality surveillance system. Although the United States is spending more on healthcare than any other country in the world, more than 2 women died during childbirth every day, making maternal mortality in the United States the highest when compared to 49 other countries in the developed world. So 2 a day. 2 women die every day due to childbirth complications, according to this.
in just the United States, right?
In just the United States,
I don't even believe that.
compared to 49 other countries.
I don't believe that at all.
I really don't either. Like, this is Wikipedia, so take out that big jar of salt that you got sitting on the counter and start pushing a couple grains with it.
Pour the whole thing of salt.
I mean, how
Make
the
it be
container
very
can be as big as you need it to
salty,
be.
boys, salty.
The CDC reported an increase in maternal mortality ratio in the United States from 18.8 deaths per 100,000 births to 23.8 deaths per 100,000 births between 2000 and 2014.
Yeah, this is just bullshit. Come on.
A 26.6 increase as of 2018, and the U.S. had an estimated 17.4 deaths per 100,000 live births. It is estimated that 20 to 50% of these deaths are due to preventable causes such as hemorrhage, severe high blood pressure, and infection.
I don't buy that at all. Don't buy it at all. You're telling me
Again,
that in
it says
today's
Wikipedia,
day and
so.
age, and I'm not saying you, obviously, just
No,
generally.
right.
I mean, in today's modern day and age, with the technological advancements that we have, my God, you can see the baby in the mother's womb with ultrasound. You can even create a 3-dimensional image with almost no problem now from ultrasounds. You're telling me that no one is able to detect something that goes wrong with the child up until it's too late and they have to kill the child, and oh my God, we have to protect the mother? Like, bullshit. I'm sorry. This isn't the old west. Falls out of the wagon, child and her, and then she has to save her, save the child, whatever. Something happens to the child. Oh no, oh well, we saved the mother. Like, this isn't that doesn't happen anymore. Like, it's just not a thing. I don't give a damn what the hell the CDC has to say. To hell with him. It's bullshit.
And of course, it's Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is kind of owned by the left anyway. So the left is going to kind of, fluff all this, and they're going to throw all these numbers at us and be like, and people aren't going to understand our numbers. So under the education thing, it says, it has been shown that mothers between the ages of 18 and 44 who did not complete high school had a 5% increase in maternal mortality versus women who completed high school. Really?
So if you didn't get a GED or graduate from high school, then you're just gonna get pregnant and go oh, whoops. I guess I'm gonna have to kill my child now. Whoopsie daisy. Like, what the hell?
By completing primary school, 10% of the girls younger than 17 years old would not get pregnant, and 2/3 of the maternal deaths would be prevented. Their numbers are ridiculous. How do you figure that if they completed a primary school that they would actually be alive and be able to birth children more successfully than an uneducated person?
Because
it just does not
pedophilia.
make sense.
That's,
That's messed up in itself.
literally what this is. That's literally what this is. This is manipulating statistics to try and further the agenda of screwing with your children, literally. Anyways.
Exactly what you just said there. That's exactly what's going on. Is they're actually trying
they're
to do what
literally
they
telling
can.
that underage children have a better off chance of giving birth to a child than someone who is technically considered probably an adult by the state at that point. Later on.
But I just had a child within the last few years. My wife is over the age of 36, and yes, her pregnancy was considered geriatric. That's how ridiculous the environment is when it comes to giving child. They told us that we would had the potential of our child having issues because of our age. Because my wife was 36 and whatever. I mean, it was like she's 38 now, so I mean, not that much older than her, whatever. When you think about it, and I'm like, stop putting stupid numbers and making people think that these stupid numbers actually make sense anywhere.
It was just a bunch of lefty NPCs will look at this and go, "Say, it goes along with our agenda. We must push abortions and pedophilia on you and your children. Wear our rainbow crisscross symbol on our bands."
I mean, close your legs. That's the easiest way to do it, is just close your legs. If you really can't close your legs and you feel the need, which is totally a legit feeling that people feel the need to actually, have a relationship and create life, because that's pretty much what we do. That's the main objective in life, is to create more life.
NPCs love death. We create death.
I mean, this one even goes, look at this, it even goes into race. And it even says that race has something to do with the livelihood of children that aren't currently being born. I mean,
Black women don't know how to take care of themselves, I guess, right? That's what the implication here is.
It says that African American women are 4 times as likely to suffer from maternal morbidity and mortality than a Caucasian woman. 4 times as likely to suffer?
Yeah, how about bullshit?
Why?
Because they kill black children at twice the rate they even do white kids.
Oh wait!
I mean,
is
that's
it
how
because
that's
they
how
can't
black
go
people are a
to, they
minority.
can't find a hospital to actually go to get the help or assistance that they need? Because that's a lie. Ain't no hospital going to turn you down.
Yeah, because they're just busing them all to abortion mills. At
Right? They're just like, no, never mind. We don't want to take care of you. Go over to the Planned Parenthood. They'll fix you.
Oh, I mean, I don't mean the hospitals. I mean just in general. Like, people are just taking them, being like, hey, it'd be better if you just went ahead and got rid of these children. So they're like, okay. We trust the state. We get our money from the state. We get our food stamps from the state, and whatever. I can't afford another child, whatever. They convince them, oh, yes, this is the best thing ever. Brainwash them all, and then they just march them into the place and kill them all. I mean, that's how blacks are a minority in this country. Blacks should be about 40% of the population in this country, at the very least. And the only reason that they're not
this is exactly the statement that I was looking for. It's just, furthermore, women of color, especially African American, Indigenous, Latina, and immigrant women, and women who did not speak English, are less likely to obtain the care they need. Why? Why are they less likely to get the care that they need? Are they refusing to actually go see somebody? Or are they, is it because they're racist and they don't want to go see a quote-unquote Caucasian woman that's possibly going to help them? Or are they just ignorant enough where they don't realize that chances are is that it's not going to be a Caucasian woman that's even going to give birth to your child?
I mean, half these statistics is probably just somebody writing down on a piece of paper. Oh, yes, she was going to die, and it's all just lies.
So, who wrote this that actually can come up with these numbers and these stats that are bullshit? It's just ridiculous.
I mean, it's just objective reality. I mean, you can set a camera outside of a Planned Parenthood and just watch women just walk into the place pregnant.
I mean,
and just
where's the paragraph that
they're
says
not struggling.
Paternal mortality is rising? Because more men commit suicide than women do when it comes to certain reasons. There should be a paragraph for that. I don't see a paragraph that says anything about men.
Because
why is that?
Mortality. This is
Oh, right, because men can't have children.
Oh!
Oh!
He caught me. I was being transphobic. Pardon me.
I was being transphobic. Oh, man.
Kill me
So then-
now. Anyway. So, aren't we going to read the actual draft thing? That it was. Do you have the actual draft thing, or did you not do the Scribba thing? I can share it.
I did pick up the draft. It was the last. You shared it with me. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I suppose we should do that, huh?
Yeah, and then go on, because that just makes sense.
And then we'll go on.
Yeah, and then it's like, so they don't like that decision. Well, what the hell is the decision? Oh, well, we haven't read it yet, so just like I don't know. It just seems like it's a little better.
The Roe v. Wade draft opinion.
Yes, that's one.
So this is unscribed document. Anybody that wants to actually see it can actually see it. It looks like there's a download button, so they can actually download it.
Does it give you the whole
PDF
thing? It does give you the whole thing.
Yep, it gives you the whole thing. I'm not going to download it just because I just don't really feel the need.
I already did.
I'm going to kind of scroll in here so I can see it a little bit better, as well as maybe you. So this is Supreme Court of the United States. Thomas Dobbs, State Health Officer of the Mississippi Department of Health, petitioner versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. Justice Alito delivered an opinion to the court. Abortion presents a profound moral issue in which Americans hold sharply conflicting views. Some believe fervently that the human person comes into being at conception and that abortion ends an innocent life. Some? I think there's a lot more than what they're actually leading you to believe. Others feel just as strongly that any regulation of abortion invades the woman's right to control their own body and prevents women from achieving full equality. Stop it. Go make me a sandwich. Still others on the third group think that abortion should be allowed under some, but not all circumstances, and those within that group hold a variety of views about the particular restrictions that should be imposed. Again, go make me a sandwich.
Well, also, I mean, just for context here, again, this is him presenting an opinion to the court, and so when you present an opinion to the court, you go over like the entirety of the whole subject. So he's just covering like every perspective here, as an introduction, and then he goes into further detail and explains it all. He is again, this is a opinion against Roe v. Wade and what the hell was that?
Which is great. For the first 185 years after the adoption of the Constitution, each state was permitted to address this issue of accordance with the views of its citizens. Then, in 1973, this court decided Roe v. Wade. Even though the Constitution makes no mention of abortion, the court held that it confers a broad right to obtain one, that it did not claim that American law or the common law had ever recognized. Such a right in its survey of history ranged from the constitutionally irrelevant to the plainly incorrect. Its decision on abortion and its assertion that abortion was probably never a crime under the common law.
That's e.g.
Well,
for,
I
and
mean-
that's example.
Right. After cataloging a wealth of other information having no bearing on the meaning of the Constitution, the opinion concluded that the numbered set of rules, much like those that might be found in the statute enacted by the legislature. Under this scheme, each trimester of pregnancy was regulated differently, but the most critical line was drawn at roughly the end of the second trimester, which is the time corresponded to the point at which a fetus is thought to achieve viability, the ability i.e., the ability to survive outside the womb. Although the court acknowledged the states had a legitimate interest in protecting potential life, it found that this interest could not justify any restrictions of preventability abortions. The court did not explain that the basis for the line or even abortion supporters have found it hard to defend Roe's reasoning. One of the prominent constitutional scholars wrote that he would vote for a statute very much like the one the court ended up drafting if we were a legislature, but his assessment of Roe was memorable and brutal. Roe was not constitutional law at all and gave almost no sense of obligation to try to be.
Now, one thing just to...
Hey, Jules of Cali. Hi, how's it going?
Oh, hello. One thing to, again, keep into context here is this is the state of Mississippi. This is them passing their law, their heartbeat law type of thing. And they were taken to court, of course, over all of that. And this has been pushed up to the Supreme Court, this decision. So this is about a state trying to pass a law against abortions up until a certain period of time in the pregnancy. So that's what this case decision is about. And then, of course, ultimately, they make the decision against it. And of course, we shall read on here the exact reasons why. But just so we understand, because I just thought of that because you read the Mississippi thing, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I don't think people remember exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty much the state of Mississippi or whatever, that
was.
jurisdiction that's pretty much penned this or whatever. So at the time of Roe, 30 states still prohibited abortion in all stages. In the years prior to the decision, about a third ended that political process. It imposed the same highly restrictive regime on an entire nation, and it effectively struck down the abortion laws of every single state. As Justice Brian White aptly put it in his dissent, the decision represented the exercise of raw judicial power, 410 U.S. at 222, and has sparked a national controversy that has embittered our political culture for a half of century. And it pretty much has. And it's boiling it right back up again right now.
Oh my God.
It's boiling it to the point right back up that there's a lot of people that I'm interested to see how big this group is actually going to be tomorrow. I bet you there's a larger group outside of the Supreme Court or whatever.
Oh my God! You thought the
today.
protest for Trump being elected the first time was bad, and all those protests around D.C. And I get it. I know how bad they were because I was there, and holy freak, like those people were nutty then. I mean, can you imagine these people now? Like, holy shit.
That is a cutting citing from the Mississippi case in another case or Supreme Court filing. That is a cutting citing from...
Is she asking about the section you just read?
I'm guessing she's asking about the section that we just read.
Oh, okay, so cutting was an autocorrect. So is that a citing from a Mississippi case or another case or Supreme Court filing? Do you mean he just read, or do you mean this whole thing?
Yes.
What I responded.
If it looks like this particular section or whatever, they're talking about the Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania versus Casey.
Yeah, because he's going back over.
Right.
And of course, that's Casey. That's 1992. And so this would reverse, both of those.
Oh, expert, we got Jules. It's all right. We got her. If she's, as long as she's subbed to one of these channels somewhere or whatever, she's good.
Oh, she says, I just saw many sightings. He's going back over, because this is Justice Alito giving his, because he's the one who's writing for the
right, he's writing. This is Alito's opinion.
Yes, he's writing
and everything that's
right. I was about to say dissent.
right.
It's him writing an opinion about this, and he's going back over the justification for Roe and Casey's existence, and he's telling you why they shouldn't exist. But he's quoting the both of them throughout this whole thing.
Right.
So
paradoxically, the judgment of Casey did a fair amount of overruling. Several important abortion decisions were overruled in toto, and Roe itself was overruled in part. Casey threw out Roe's trimester scheme and substituted a new rule of uncertain origin under which states were forbidden to adopt any regulation that imposed an undue burden on a woman's right to have an abortion. The decision provided no clear guidance about the difference between a due and an undue burden, but the three justices who authored the controlling opinion called the contending sides of national controversy to end their national division by treating the court's decision as a final settlement of the question of the constitutional right to abortion. As has become increasingly apparent in the intervening years, Casey did not achieve that goal. Americans continue to hold passionate and widely divergent views on abortion, and state legislatures have acted accordingly.
I mean, and that shows throughout all the laws, as he says, because throughout this entire time, from 1973 onward, abortion has been wildly unpopular throughout most of the United States. At the very least, abortions from the point of a heartbeat onward have been absolutely widely unpopular. Now, from that point less, it's a little more controversial for some people, but generally speaking, once you start from heartbeat on, everybody, for the most part, across the United States is pretty much against it. And most of the people who are more upper-class people don't seem to have a problem with that. So, as you go up to, more ritzier people, they don't seem to have too much of a problem with doing that. And of course, sort of like this mindset, you could say, of eugenics, where it's like, oh, the poor can kill their children, that's fine, whatever. That kind of mentality. So anyways, it's just sort of the demographics of the, positions on this particular topic. And this is just obvious. I mean, you can talk to anybody, like some, a ritzy, aristocratic type person who, oh, my white picket fence in the suburbs, I have like a freaking $800,000 house somewhere where the housing prices are not that much through the roof or whatever. They have all this expensive stuff. They get everything. They're more upper class, and if you ask them about abortion, they'll be like a white Karen will come out and be like, oh, well, yeah, sure, abortion all the time, every day. And then if you ask your normal, average, everyday person who goes to church and does, normal moral things like a normal human being does in the United States, they're like, yeah, no, I don't agree with that. So that's been pretty much
some of them just go along with the majority of people that are around their area that tell them how to think.
Well,
as opposed to using their own brain and actually coming up with their own decision. They're like, oh my God, look at the 50 people that are standing there on the corner that have something to complain about. And I feel the need to complain about something. I'm going to go join the 50 people on the corner, and I'm going to spew whatever they're spewing and not do any research and not understand what's actually happening. I'm just going to agree with them
Because
so
we
that
are
they
NPCs.
agree with me.
We got orders from CNN to go out with signs and protest this thing.
Exactly, Jules. It's not a black or white issue. Nothing is. The people that sit there and push racism on a regular basis as being something that, we're all part of, can go fuck off. I'm so sick of this shit.
Racial thing. I think she means the.
No, but it gave me a reason to actually go off on it or whatever anyway. As has become increasingly apparent in intervening years, Casey did not achieve that goal. Americans continue to hold passionate and widely divergent views on abortion. Did I read that one already? And in this case, 26 states have expressly asked the court to overrule Roe and Casey and allow the states to regulate their prohibited pre-viability abortions. Before us now is one such state law. The state of Mississippi asks us to uphold the constitutionality of the law that generally prohibits an abortion after the 15th week of pregnancy, several weeks before the point at which a fetus is now regarded as viable outside the womb. In defending this law, the state's primary argument is that we should reconsider and overrule Roe and Casey and once again allow each state to regulate abortion as its citizens wish. On the other side, respondents of the Solicitor General ask us to reaffirm Roe and Casey, and that they contend that the Mississippi law cannot stand if we do so, allowing Mississippi to prohibit abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. They argue would be no different than overruling Casey and Roe entirely. Brief for Respondent 43, they contend that no half measures are available and that we must either reaffirm or overrule Roe and Casey. So they're like, no matter what, we need to actually go over this and we need to actually make it what it is and not go with half-assed laws because Mississippi's okay with, abortion before the 15 weeks where, or prohibited against after the 15 weeks. You conceive the child, have the child, go give it to somebody that actually wants to take care of that child and will treat it as their own. There's so many people out there that can't have children, and we're so ignorant about it that we're just going to be like, no, because I don't want to have this child. I don't want the burden, and I don't want to hand the burden off to somebody else. I want to make it a burden, and it's not what it is. It's a child. Children are not burdens. They're awesome.
Children
really,
are
seriously.
blessings.
If you've never had a child, I would totally suggest actually having a child and taking care of the child for a period of time. Like 18 years, and you'll totally change your mind on the majority of these issues. Joel says the real issue right now is the reason we are deep diving this because someone leaked a Supreme Court decision to throw the decision making back at the state courts. It shouldn't even be up to the state. It should be up to the person that is pregnant and their doctor. Period. It should be up to nobody else.
Well, she's saying that the reason that we're looking at this now is because someone leaked it, and I believe we will get into that little bit of what they're going to talk about. And I think you do have something up there, right, where Roberts said that he wanted an investigation from the Supreme Court, an internal investigation, because he doesn't want anything from the FBI going in there. Oh my God, no. Roberts,
people need to look at the state they live in about the issues and stop being political tools. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, being a political tool, I mean, I have the tendency to, like, I seriously really didn't pay attention to politics that much, even in high school, though I kind of sort of did because it was George Bush and a couple others. Yes, I'm going to age myself. There's a couple things that were actually going on when I was in high school, like, weapons of mass destruction type things or whatever. And we were a bunch of us were really scared that we were actually going to get pushed into a war, actually drafted, because it's supposed to allowing us to go to the post office to do so. We were actually filling out draft cards at the high school and handing them in immediately. And we were just like, what in the world is going on? Why are we actually being forced into doing this kind of crap? And I kind of stopped paying attention to the politics until they started shoving politics into everything.
Well, the reason they wanted to do that at your school is because Madeleine Albright wanted to kill some Iraqis. Yay! Of course, she's dead now. And
Jules says we have a much bigger issue. Most of us didn't. What's the bigger issue? What are you trying to get at? But yeah, I mean, exactly. I know. I kind of go off in little tangents or whatever on certain things or whatever because it's what's in my head. But this stuff or whatever has been around for the last 50 years, and he's going through all this. So I'm gonna try going through here again.
You're like right at the end of where I was suggesting that you probably stop anyway, because the rest of it he just goes into a bunch of different. The entire history of abortion law and everything else. We don't really need to, like I said, we don't really need to go into all of that. You're right there at page 6, at the bottom of page 6, like right after the page you're reading. That's pretty much where you should probably stop for people to get the gist of what is happening with this decision.
Okay, good. So again, this is inscribed. Everything that we're actually looking at will actually be tagged in the description down below. I know it's not currently, but they will be, and you'll be able to actually click on any of the links and bring them up. Yeah, absolutely. You can throw it in chat right now. Either way, it will be in the description down below once we finish doing what we're doing tonight, and you'll be able to actually find them there.
Here we go.
So let's kind of move that.
So you were at the second paragraph of page 5.
Yes, I was. So, I mean, like, I do have a few things or whatever that are kind of interesting that we can go through here or whatever. You don't have to read everything. It's just to spark conversation.
Well, sometimes the headline overstates what is actually in the rest of the article. I think this may be the case. To Shannon's point, Shannon says she has not been waived off the fact that this was a draft from February, which I think is absolutely the case. If they obtain this draft that's more than 100 pages, it likely was a legitimate draft. Whether that changes, we won't know. But I think
it is legitimate.
It's too juicy of a story not to run with. I mean, how consequential this reporting is, Sean. If true, never in the history of the Supreme Court, in modern history, to have an opinion like this leak. And it makes you wonder how it leaked. Was it a clerk and maybe disagreed with the opinion and took this unprecedented step to put public pressure on justices as they're still making their decisions? I don't know, but someone, it would seem to me, with a motive, clearly leaked this in a way that is very unusual for the Supreme Court.
It's never happened before. There's been another time I heard Barnes talking about this, Robert Barnes talking about this. He said there was another time back, and I think it was 1913, in a Supreme Court decision, something was leaked about that, but it wasn't near to the extent as this, like the entire decision that they were drafting, this draft decision. Oh, but before you go on with this, I mean, we're just about done with that scripted thing. I mean, I can read the rest of it if you'd like to, because it's just like what is it, like 1, 2, like 3 paragraphs
There's
or
like
whatever?
couple paragraphs left out of
And he
it.
basically just states, like Roe needs to be overturned. I think it's a little. I think it is important to read those last couple of paragraphs there. I know we are an hour in, and we have a couple other things to
No,
do,
go
but I
ahead.
think it is important.
If you have it available, otherwise I'll bring it up on my side.
Download. Oh wait, that PDF isn't going to share. I'll just do it for Scribd. Or Scribed, whatever. I don't know why I call it Scribd.
Because it kind of looks that way.
It does look that way.
It kind of looks that way. So like I was like halfway through page 5.
Yeah.
Looks like you're on page 4 still.
Well, this is page 5, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Never mind.
Oh, they're saying page 4. I was looking at numbers like on the page. So, yeah. Well,
That's no. That is the page.
Well, anywho's, but he goes on to say that we hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision, including the one on which the defenders of Roe and Casey now chiefly rely, the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, which is just absurd. This is me talking there. That provision has been held to guarantee some rights that are not mentioned in the Constitution, but any such right must be, quote, deeply rooted in this nation's history and tradition and, quote, implicit in the concept of ordered liberty. Washington versus Glucksberg. And then it goes on to talk about that. That is from a case in 1997. The right to abortion does not fall within this category, which would be 14th Amendment. Until the latter part of the 20th century, such a right was entirely unknown in American law. Indeed, when the 14th Amendment was adopted, 3/4 of the states made abortion a crime at all stages of the pregnancy. The abortion right is also critically different from any other right that this court has held to fall within the 14th Amendment's protection of liberty. Roe's defenders characterize the abortion right as similar to the rights recognized in past decisions involving matters such as intimate sexual relations, contraception, and marriage, but abortion is fundamentally different, as both Roe and Casey acknowledged, because it destroys what those decisions called fetal life, quote unquote, and what the law now before us describes as an unborn human being, and of course the law being the law that the state of Mississippi had passed. Stare decisis, the doctrine on which case-rolling opinion was based, does not compel unending adherence to Roe's abuse of judicial authority. Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak, and the decision has had damaging consequences. And far from bringing about a national settlement of the abortion issue, Roe and Casey have inflamed debate and deepened division. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. Quote, the permissibility of abortion and the limitations upon it are to be resolved, like most important questions in our democracy, by citizens trying to persuade one another and then voting. End quote. From Casey. And then concurring in the judgment in part and dissenting in part is what's in parentheses or Scalia. Is who that was from. That is what the Constitution and the rule of law demand. So that is the basis of that decision, that drafted decision. That has not been an official decision yet, but it was a drafted decision by Alito that was leaked, which is that which they state, as I just read off there, the Constitution demands that Roe and Casey be overturned and the states be given back the rightful power to regulate, control abortion. So
So then right after all this was actually kind of pushed out there, and it was like super quick, and like, wait a minute here, that doesn't make sense. It seems like the leak may have come from the inside, because the second that leak came out, Schumer and Pelosi go and they throw up their statement right away, their joint statement. The statement goes, quote, "If the report is accurate, the Supreme Court is poised to inflict the greatest restrictions of rights in the past 50 years, not just on women, but all Americans. The Republican-appointed justices' reported votes to overturn Roe v. Wade would go down as an abomination, one of the worst and most damaging decisions in modern history. Several of these conservative justices who are no way accountable for American people have lied to the U.S. Senate, ripped up the Constitution, and defiled both precedent and Supreme Court's reputation, all at the expense of tens of millions of women who could soon be stripped of their bodily autonomy and constitutional rights they've rallied for half a century.
Oh my God, these are just
Congress must.
These are
quotes.
seething goblins and vampires that just love to sacrifice children to Satan and stuff. Like, I mean, this is them just having.
These
a
are
freaking
quotes
conniption.
coming out of this wretched thing right here that you're looking at. Blah.
Head vampires.
Congress must pass legislation by codifies Roe v. Wade in the law and land of this country now. Senator Bernie Sanders, an independent who caucuses with Democrats and who twice finished as a runner-up of a Democratic presidential primary, because, you know, all that stuff is necessary for us to know, because if you didn't know who Bernie Sanders was, and if there aren't 60 votes in the Senate to do it, and there are not, we must end the filibuster to pass it with 50 votes. You know, the filibuster, you know, that thing that was created by Democrats. Do we say that? Can we say that? Because it's freaking truth. So sick of people freaking sitting there pushing their freaking thoughts and ideas around and being like, well, you know, we need to end this. Well, if we needed to end the filibuster, we should have ended it a long time ago and not allowed it to be created back when Democrats created the motherfucker. But, you know, whatever. We can actually go off of what we want.
Oh, God,
Just,
there's the head chief goblin.
yeah, there's the head goblin. She had something to say about it, too.
Look at her mouth. Her mouth is just, you know, dropped open to, you know, to consume.
So then
the child.
Ocasio-Cortez, the one that's just above there or whatever with her wide-ass mouth, says, as we've warned, Scotus isn't just coming for abortion. They're coming for the right and privacy Roe rests on, which includes gay marriage and civil rights. Manchin is blocking Congress codifying Roe. House has seemingly forgotten about Clarence Thomas. These 2 points must change.
Just Clarence Thomas.
Excuse
isn't
me?
black, by the way.
Excuse me, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez?
Occasional cortex.
Who the heck do you think you are? You can sit there and you can say stupid shit that it makes no fucking sense.
Hillary Clinton's bimbo?
Manchin's not doing shit. Hillary Clinton, the 2016 Democratic nominee and the former First Lady and Secretary of State and the lady that's going to try running for 2024, called and confirmed draft opinion outrageous. Not surprising, but still outrageous. This decision is difficult, assault on the dignity, rights, and lives of women, not to mention decades of settled law. It will kill and subjugate women, even if the vast majority of Americans think abortion should be legal. What an utter disgrace. You know what's a disgrace? This
Your
lady.
face.
Right, this lady in her face. I'm so sick of her. And there it is, the Republican elected. Wow, that isn't at all transparent.
Oh, look,
So,
we still got Laura Logan's face there for Fox Nation after they kicked her off. Bastards. Look at this.
yeah.
Like, they kicked her off because they called Lord God Fauci. She said that Lord God Fauci reminded her of a certain Yahtzee doctor from WW2. Sort of like a, oh, what is his name? His first name was Joseph, and his last name started with an M. And she said that Dr. Fauci, that people were telling her that he's basically just like that individual from WW2. So yeah, they kicked her off like within a week of that, after her making that statement. And they removed everything from her, and they act like she doesn't exist anymore. Oh wait, except to advertise for themselves, they'll advertise, oh look, we've got Laura Logan still here. Yeah, right. There you go. She's too controversial for you.
I think we should be focusing on who leaked. We should be focusing upon what leaked. What leaked is a repeal of Roe versus Wade. That is what people care about.
Fuck off, you piece of pardon my
Republicans
Portuguese.
are more concerned about who leaked it than actually the repeal of Roe versus Wade. And so, from my perspective, I think we've got an issue.
I mean, again, this bastard loves the idea of a bunch of people like mobbing the Supreme Court building, or like, trying to mob these justices where they live and like kill them and be like, oh well, I guess maybe we'll have to appoint another justice here. We'll have to just delay this hearing until later. I mean, this guy, I guess this guy thinks that, good idea for all these Antifa NPC mob members to just go out in hordes and just like, literally, instead of, character assassinate or character lynch, as Clarence Thomas called it, literally do that to him. From a tree outside of his house, because we shouldn't be concerned with who leaked it or leaking things from the Supreme Court to try to change the outcome and rile people up and make people angry over a very controversial decision. No. He says that's not a problem. We should let justices feel the effects of people mobbing them and going batshit. But what should be is just getting our freaking
thanks,
way.
Jules.
So.
She said that we're awesome.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful. Give me a reason to actually come back and do a show tomorrow. A liberal dark money group with ties to President Biden's administration is using leaked Supreme Court draft opinion to yet again push the court's expansion. Demand justice. The left's most active judicial group emailed supporters on Tuesday in the wake of the leaked Justice Samuel Alito draft opinion signaling Roe v. Wade would be overturned, saying the clearest solution to protect the constitutional rights to abortion is to expand the court. Stop it. Removing things such as filibuster and packing the court to get your way is not justice.
Well, no, I mean, FDR tried to do this back whenever he wanted to get across his.
I wish I had that clip. I wish I had that clip of Joe Biden saying that it was the most boneheaded idea anybody ever done.
There you go. And even her witchfulness herself. Oh God, what the hell? The woman who just died. I literally just forgot her name. What the hell? Ginsburg. God. Even her witchfulness herself, Ginsburg, said that, even her, she said that this would be a horrible idea, that, FDR tried it and it was stupid and it was terrible. Even all the Democrats at the time thought it was horrible and nobody would go along with it. In fact, most Americans did not go along with it, and the Democrats would lose support in their congressional majority at the time during FDR. And so they were just like, no, FDR, you're batshit. We're not supporting you in any of this. We're not doing this. But now, the hell, we'll just get like 20 justices, and as soon as somebody doesn't do what we want, we'll just put on another one and make them do what we want. And make sure that they tell people, make sure that they've allowed toddler torturers to go free at least 3 times. and then we'll put them on. That's a requirement now. That is
So
that is
here's the
requirement.
quote.
And you
It
heard
says
it
the
from Dick Durbin's mouth himself, Dirty Dick Durbin's mouth. You heard it himself from all these damn senators and these bastards and these bitches in the Senate.
Durbin.
They all said she's highly qualified. She has all the qualifications. The only damn qualifications she has is letting people out of jail for torturing toddlers. So that is what the Senate people in your United States Senate have said, that is the requirements. It is now the prerequisite for joining the Supreme Court. You have to let people off for child torture. That's what you have to do. So, and that's what you want to do if you want to be on the Supreme Court. So there you go. And so they'll just let a bunch of those on. We'll have like 20 of them filling up the court, I guess. That's their vision in their lefty, freakish mind, some of these people that keep talking like this.
So this goes on and says the Republican Party has seen the writing on the wall and knows that it can't win on the issues, which is a bunch of crap. From the needed for access to abortion and reproductive health care, to the need of an adequate and immediate plan to address climate change, to the need to robust gun violence prevention, Republicans have categorically rejected issues that are commanding the consistent majority of American support. Their group called the Supreme Court of Republicans insurance policy and pushed its supporters to contact and pressure members of Congress to kill the filibuster and add 4 seats to the Supreme Court. Demand Justice is led by former Hillary Clinton campaign staffer Brian Fallon. It also has a direct ties to the Biden administration. Oh, go figure. Really?
Oh,
you
by
don't
the way,
say.
Jules Kelly says it's all about maintaining power to maintain their secret corruption. Indeed, it is. This is how they blackmail people.
Yes, exactly.
That's how they get it's one big
There's a
club
couple
and you win
things
it,
that
as
we
they
don't say here on YouTube because YouTube disallows us to say them. If you want to hear what they actually are, you go to AmericaShirts or First's Rumble page and go watch some of the videos that he has put up.
Yeah,
That's where you get some stuff that you can't say on YouTube because YouTube just doesn't like it, doesn't really care for it.
Yeah, but anybody that's here watching, Jules or anybody else, you should totally go over there to hear about the Russia-Ukraine crisis and all that entails, because I covered all of that. I haven't posted anything recently because I've just been very busy myself.
Been busy.
But I do have just about everything dealing with Russia and Ukraine and the basics of it. I have 2 documentary films by Oliver Sands, so you should go check that out over there. Now that he's brought up the Rumble channel, and there's people listening, so you should go check that out.
Exactly. That's kind of why I brought it up, because we're like an hour and 15 into it, and we kind of give us a little bit of a push. Because, definitely check that out. And if you haven't done so already, you should subscribe here. Make sure you share what I'm doing, like it, ring the bell. That way you can come back and you can hear us at midnight Central Standard Time. We try going every night. There's going to be a little lull coming up soon where I'll be moving. As soon as I can get back up and running, I will be back up and running again. That being said, let's kind of move on here a little bit. Let's see if we can't. This article is kind of short. Yeah, right. There's the goblin looking at her. She's like, oh, wait a minute. I can't. She looks like she can't see it. But the Democratic politicians.
She just can't believe it. She's like, really? Anthony Weiner's.
No, thanks, Joel, for being a subscriber. Thank you so much. And anybody else that's paying attention or is listening later on, this for them as well. Make sure that they subscribe, share, like, and ring that bell.
Yeah, and share it out with people, whatever, and share my videos on Rumble out with people, because I think more people need to understand and know what's going on with that situation over there, because it's kind of important to us nowadays. But of course, we're talking about this now. But anyway.
Right. So Demand Justice launched in 2018 as a project of the 1630 Fund, a fiscal sponsor managed by Washington, D.C. based consulting firm Arbella Advisors, which oversees one of the left's largest dark money networks. The group, however, recently spun into its own legal entity. Its complete list of donors is unknown due to the relationship with the 1630 Fund and the recent break of its own nonprofit. And while it hides its donors, a nonprofit in liberal billionaire George Soros' network, the Open Society Policy Center provided $2.6 million to Demand Justice around the time of its inception. Its grants showed. Demand Justice did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital's request for comment. So pretty much what the article pretty much delves into is administration ties to leftist agenda seekers such as George Soros.
Oh, the George Soros.
That guy right there.
The spooky man who wants to build a new world order.
You're right. Soros needs to just. He needs to just disappear finally. Stop using the eugenics, whatever it is that he's using to actually keep himself going. So then, let's see here. And some of these websites that I pull these up early in the day or whatever as I'm doing the research, and I kind of read through them or whatever. And then once I go back to them or whatever, I'm like, oh, that was updated. That was updated, sometime today or whatever. It's like, oh, that's fun. So let's see. This is from yesterday because it's now the 4th. This is Democratic Congressman claims it was important for public to learn about Scotus ruling. Judy Chu, Democrat of California, would not confirm her support for the impeachment of the Supreme Court justice if it turned out one of them was involved in leaking the Roe v. Wade decision. Josh Hawley. It should go without saying that if a justice leaked this, he or she should face impeachment. So even the left and the right, they're both against this leak. They're totally against what happened. They don't think that the leak should be there, or that it should have occurred, because it's just going to boil that pot and stoke it even hotter to keep us all separated going into 2022 midterm election stuff. And that's all they're doing, is they're just trying to stoke flames, and they're just like, oh, let's see if we can't get them going. Because the sooner we get politics moving in the United States again or whatever, then all of a sudden certain factions start forming, and they start doing things like burning and looting and rioting. But we don't know who those people are, because they don't exist. Like Antifa, no. It's fake. Doesn't
the
exist.
FBI was just monitoring the entire thing and had drones over top of it, had a huge surveillance program of literally everything that was going on. But we don't know any of those people, but by God,
have no clue
every
about that.
Damn person that even was within like a 50-mile radius of DC on the 6th is having their bank accounts investigated, if not thrown in prison. So what the hell? The FBI really love this, ladies and gentlemen. They're totally unbiased. They're here for our best interest.
So then this Democrat, Miss Chu, says instead, Chu took a much softer stance when asked whether or not she would vote to impeach a justice in such a situation, apparently giving the leaker credit for exposing the ruling early. We do not need to know how this leak happened. Nonetheless, I think the information was important for us to know.
I think someone chewed up her brain and spit it out. I think that's what happened.
I mean, it's kind of strange when you hear a Republican say this and a Democrat saying this, and you're like, oh, wait a minute here. They really are that messed up. It's unclear whether Roe v. Wade leak violates the federal law, similar to the legal ambiguity that occurred throughout former President Donald Trump's impeachment proceedings. Chu voted in favor of impeaching former President Trump both times.
Of course she did. She's not going to get money from Soros if she doesn't.
Right. On
And from the
Tuesday.
Democrats, and so on and so forth.
Right. Exactly. I mean, you got to go along with the narrative, otherwise you're going to lose funding. If you don't want to lose funding. On Tuesday, Chief Justice John Roberts verified the authenticity of the leak while also announcing the initiation of investigation into who it came from. Some speculation says the leak could have come from the Democratic-leaning clerk or other individual who thought it was a last-ditch effort, and the massive public outcry resulting from the leak might reverse the decision to overturn the ruling, which is not justice. It's not justice at all. You can't do that. You can't just go and be like, oh, let's leak this so that we can get our way. It's not how it works. That person that actually leaked it maybe should get in trouble for actually doing what they did, and watch it be somebody that we're just like, oh, yeah, there you go. You're going to frame somebody for it? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to frame somebody? Because that's the easiest way to get away with doing something, is to say somebody else did it and point fingers at them. I bet that's what happens. Isn't there somebody that we're thinking of that might actually not be part of Scotus, or that they're trying to impeach already anyway? Think about that one for a few seconds. Come back and let me know what you think. Some speculations say that the leak could... I went back too far. Other speculations say that the leak could have originated from a conservative fanatically committed to every word of Alito's monstrous opinion.
No one is saying that. No one with a damn brain in their head, other than this woman who had someone chew out her brain and spit it out. No one is saying that. Everyone
No,
damn
it's
well knows that
you know
this
who's
is a
saying
lip-hard
it.
NPC.
This guy right here, Mr. Alex Schemmel of the National Desk. That's his words. That's his made-up stuff.
It's
totally his made-up stuff. And the reason that I say that's his made-up crap or whatever, when it comes down to it, is when you actually look close enough, there's no quotes around anything.
Literally no quotes.
Do you see that? There's absolutely no quotes around a damn thing. It's this guy going and writing a story because he's like, well, it sounds good if I actually go against Donald Trump. F off, dude. On Tuesday, Chief Justice John Roberts verified the ethics... Oh, I can't read that one. Some speculation says that the leak could have come from Democratic-leaning, conservative, fanatically committed to Alito's... Chu isn't the only one apparently praising the leak. The operator of the left-wing think tank that works to change the partisan makeup of the U.S. court system argued all Democrats need to show the same urgency as the clerk who apparently risked his or her career to sound this alarm.
How dare you assume their gender, you evil bastards. You ought to be sued.
Well, he assumed it was one or the other.
Exactly. There's more than just his or her. There's mix, there's miss.
Stop
mix,
it.
There's
No, there isn't.
There's Zim, there's Zer, there's...
No, there isn't.
Like,
there's only two.
It's just ridiculous. They need to be sued, and all their money needs to be taken from them. How dare they sit there and misgender somebody? They could be anything, okay? Like, God. We had our new Supreme Court justice pick, the sixth member of Jackson 5, who is an Amazonian river fish. She doesn't know who the hell she is or what the hell she is. Clearly, we cannot identify people. You just can't. It is just completely illegal, unconstitutional. It's evil. It's awful. It's
the Amazonian river fish are the worst.
Oh God! Sorted on those people, but
they're about worse, a little bit worse than a goblin.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't think I'd go that far. I don't think I'd go that far, but But yeah, so yes, how dare you? You need to be sued. There you go.
So it says other Democrats have reportedly begun leveraging the alarm bell, which has caused a public outcry for members of the party to fundraise for their campaigns. Oh, is that what this is for? You're just going to be like, oh, let's leak something because, the Democrats are actually kind of losing right now. This red wave that's coming through is really something, and they're scared.
Oh, that's definitely
so
part
what
of
do they
this.
do? Stoke it. Stoke the flames and fires to actually keep you actually interested in what's going on.
Because they think that they're going to raise funds and get votes from this because, oh my golly, Roe's going to be overturned. And so they think that they're going to be like, oh, we support women's rights. Do you want women's rights? They're going to run on like women's rights or whatever because they literally have nothing else because these bastards have completely tanked the economy, tanked the United States dollar. Money printer go burr. And so on and so forth, and getting us into World War III. And they all love it, and they all know that everybody else hates it. So they got to run on something a little bit. Now, granted, they do have their election fortifications in place. Obviously, we see Mr. Potato Head in office now. But, again, the most legitimate potato to ever be put into the White House.
Ever. With the most votes.
Yes, ever. But some of these people still need to run on something. There still needs to be a bit of a campaign going on here. Obviously. So it's like, what do you do? There's nothing to run on. And what if their fortifications don't work out the way that they think that they are? Well, they still got to run on something. They got to have a little bit of a plan B. So here it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. It is your women's rights. Oh my God, abortion. Holy hell, we need to run. And of course, they're going to raise a bunch of funds on that too. They might not get as many votes as they want, but they're definitely going to get funding from it. They'll get people who will be like, oh yes, I want women's rights. Absolutely. I'll give $20. And then you got a Karen that'll throw $20 at a campaign.
Yeah. Some strange ass Karen. So then, because he thought that we were done with Occasional Cortex, here's a little bit more from Miss Occasional Cortex. She seems to have an issue with Kristen Sinema, who's also a Democrat. Really?
It's not just
she
her
has
eyeballs.
Issues.
It's other issues. Okay. Somebody needs to come up one time and just be like, like put those eyeballs back in their sockets whenever she gets to talking. Just be like, pop, like get those things back in there.
She goes and calls Kristen Sinema, who's also a Democrat out of Arizona, an obstructionist for saying that she should face a primary challenger. So she's like Kristen Sinema sucks, and I don't think that she should be there. I really don't care for Kristen Sinema either, but she's damn well much better than Occasional Cortex. We could protect Roe tomorrow, but Sinema refuses to act on the filibuster until the changes she can take a seat talking about women's access to health care. Hold everyone contributing to this disaster accountable. GOP and dumb obstructionists included.
Can I just point out something? She says women's access.
Primary.
Yeah. Women's access to health care. There's nothing healthy about the entire process of an abortion. The only thing that an abortion does is end a life in the mother's womb. It only is death. There's nothing of health or life about it. It is only about death. The entire process is about ripping apart the child in the mother's womb and killing it in death. That is surrounding. There's nothing to do with health. It's not health race when I go to the doctor. Like, no. This has nothing to do with health. This has everything to do with killing, destroying, and death. That's all it has to do. So this entire thing of healthcare is utter bullshit. Just so that we keep things within their proper context in our minds when we listen to these bastards and these bimbos and bitches here talk. Just again, it's like they say health. You're supposed to think death because that's exactly what it is. So, anyways,
I just thought I'd throw that because it just reminded me that it was just.
No,
Sorry
you're
to
fine.
interrupt you.
You're fine. No, you're fine. You're fine. I like the rants. I like it. So, let's see, where were we now? This one. So, like I said, if you didn't have enough of occasional cortex, we're going to go over a little bit more with her or whatever. So then we see.
Just in case you didn't get enough.
Yeah, we could protect Roe tomorrow, but Cinnamon refuses to act on the filibuster. Until that changes, she can take a seat talking about women's access and health care, hold everyone contributing to the disaster accountable, GOP and Dem obstructionists included. She should be primaried. This comes from Political Monday Evening, published a draft majority opinion written by Justice Samuel Alito that indicted the Supreme Court is poised to effectively eliminate federal abortion protections by overturning the High Court's landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade decision, which has established a federal right to abortion, as well as the 1992 ruling in Planned Parenthood versus Casey. Ocasio-Cortez was responding to Sinema's statement on the leaked document in which the senator condemned the draft opinion but defended her opposition to amending the filibuster rule amid calls for some members of the Senate Democratic caucus to eliminate the measure in order to pass legislation codifying federal abortion rights. Sinema implied that her stance would not change the issue, saying that her statement protections in the Senate safeguarding against the erosion of women's access to health care have been used a half a dozen times in the past 10 years and are more important now than ever. Okay, if you say so. As we warned, Scotus isn't just coming for abortion. They're coming for the right to privacy Roe rests on, which includes gay marriage and civil rights.
Roe does not rest on the right to privacy.
I don't see it actually falling and screwing up anything to do with civil rights or gay marriage, because it's not a right to actually abort somebody else. It's not your right. If you want it to be your right, close your legs. You won't have the issue. Otherwise, if you're going to continue, have the children, adopt them out. Adopt them out. Let somebody else take care of them. Let somebody that can't have the children, allow them to actually take care of those children. Manchin is blocking Congress codifying Roe. House has seemingly forgotten about Clarence Thomas. Those 2 points must change. Again, who cares about Clarence Thomas? Clarence Thomas, just because he has an opinion that's opposite of what hers are, does not make him less of a person. Her opinion's shit. His opinion's a little bit more, just saying. Right now it is anyway. His opinion's a little bit more important. Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said Tuesday that he plans to introduce legislation on the Senate floor to codify federal abortion rights. But members of the Democratic caucus have acknowledged that such a bill is unlikely to pass under current filibuster rules, which requires most bills to obtain a 3/5 majority of 60 votes in the currently evenly divided Senate. Which is great. I hate Chuck Schumer. I'm so sick of hearing it from Chuck Schumer. He needs to not be the majority leader. He's horrible.
As are they all.
Just wants to continue to push, to remove things like filibusters. He's gonna find out the hard way. Remove the filibuster and watch things change while you remove it. And then watch the other side run wild. You dang well they will. Yeah, see, these ones kind of cover the same stuff that we've already kind of covered. I know I always do this. I always pull up extra articles that have nothing, that already covered the issue or whatever. I just like to have it so that way. And I'm like, well, this was kind of interesting. I think I'm going to skip the next couple. It was to this guy. This turtle-looking dude.
Oh,
This guy.
Oh, this guy. It's Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, it's Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. Senate Majority Leader, or Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. It's an attack on the independence of the Supreme Court. Oh, really? You feel that way? Are you sure, Mr. McConnell? That's how you want to feel about it? Dudes are getting ready to be primaried. I know he's a Republican from Kentucky, but he sure doesn't act like he's a Republican from anywhere. He acts more like a Democrat than most.
Oh, he's a globalist. Half of them are freaking globalist tags.
Oh, we know that he owns stock in certain shipping containers and,
Oh,
whatever.
yes, the Chinese, and then his wife's a Chinese freak and whatever. We all know. And not because
we went through that.
because she's from China or because it's her ethnicity. It's because she's connected to them from her ancestry.
We went through that
go
one.
of any of those ties. Of course,
There's a thing that we actually produced within the last 6 months or whatever, where we actually talked about this guy and the things that he owns. I believe it was right around the same time that the Ever Given was stuck in the Suez Canal.
And he had
because we were curious who's blocking up the canal.
And then that, of course, was is Chinese based in large part. I forget exactly how we went through that, but yeah, he's connected.
This guy's connected to that. Driving the news. By every indication, this is yet another escalation of the radical left's ongoing campaign to bully and immediate federal judges and substitute mob rule for the rule of law. I mean, that I kind of agree with. I mean, when you kind of have to agree with him on certain things or whatever, because some of his speaking points are kind of worth it. Late Monday night, Politico posted a story reporting that the court had voted to overturn Roe v. Wade and published a leaked draft and majority opinion written by Samuel Alito. What he's saying, the disgraceful statements by President Biden, Speaker Pelosi, and Leader Schumer refused to defend judicial independence and the rule of law and instead play into the toxic spectacle. Real leaders should defend the court's independence unconditionally. This lawless action should be investigated and punished as fully as possible. The Chief Justice must get to the bottom of it, and the Department of Justice must pursue criminal charges if applicable. All 9 justices should turn into the bad faith noise of feel totally free and do their jobs following the facts and the laws where they lead.
But see, you're gonna
really don't like this guy.
Messed up because you're gonna like push your jaw a little bit, and then like with your lips.
I can't continue to actually sound like that because it just makes me. I feel weird.
Well, you're Miss McConnell. Miss McConnell.
You're supposed to make yourself feel weird.
He's a grappling turtle from Kentucky. He goes for lunch and he has a bucket of fish.
Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel called the leak extremely alarming in the statement that echoed McConnell's tone, adding that, she used McConnell's tone. It's extremely alarming.
Yes, exactly.
Deserves to deliberate with it.
It's like this on an interview. It's like, she used McConnell's tone. What do you mean?
Well, she was
she was talking like McConnell. Democrats are showing once again how extreme they really are on abortion, pushing taxpayers funded on-demand and unlimited abortion up until the moment of birth and after. The far left wants unelected judges to impose a radical one-size-fits-all abortion policy, leaving Americans without a voice. She said the GOP will always stand for the sanctity of life, speak up for the unborn, and protect vulnerable mothers. Somebody needs to. It's so totally unfair to be a man in this world right now. Because we have no rights on anything. We don't get to. We don't are making up our minds and or having an opinion on things. Really, just kind of it's frowned upon right now.
Yes, you're not allowed to have an opinion on this because you don't have ovaries, so you don't get to make
the
that
last
decision.
person that told me that I couldn't have an opinion because I didn't have particular bodily function or whatever says that I couldn't have an opinion because I don't have a cervix. And I looked at her and I said, you ought not get yourself a hysterectomy if you want to keep your opinion. Oh, I lost her as a friend immediately. But, when it comes down to it, what the hell? You get an opinion because you have a cervix? Are you kidding me right now?
Well,
I have no opinion.
But see, here is the conflict, right? The left has already established that, men can be women and women can be men, and we don't know what a woman actually is. So,
I'm identifying as a woman at the moment.
Yes.
Fuck yourself.
Yes, there you go. All we have to do is just sit here and be like, yes, we are men, but we identify as men who can be pregnant, and just be like, yeah. Or we can identify as women, or we can identify as whatever the hell. I mean, I can identify as like a steel rod and still be pregnant, according to these people. I mean, like this is where we are.
That's awesome, Jules. Thanks for listening. That's great that you actually have somebody actually watching us. Yes, she's still with us. It's awesome. She agrees with us. She likes our opinions.
Because remember, Ketanji Brown Jackson, the sixth member of the Jackson 5 who lets toddler torches out of jail, we can't define what a woman is, period. I mean, that's the requirement to be on the Supreme Court, right? So, I mean, hey, anything goes at this point. Just, as Paul Joseph Watson likes to say in the videos all the time, anything goes. So, hey, let's do it. Be like, hey, I identify. Shut up. Just watch them go.
That one was pretty much the same as the last one.
Just break their brains. Just watch them break down in the street and start crying and convulsing. No, he can't do this.
So then, this is supposedly from the President of the United States of America.
Oh my God, this just reminded me as I looked at his face on that avatar. Did you hear where he made a speech where he says, "You can call me Joe Biden"?
Yes, I actually have that actual clip. I got it.
Holy hell.
I do, and suddenly they know what a female is. Yeah, right? The difference between a female a month ago and a female now is amazing.
I know.
They actually us and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know what a female is."
Yeah, a female gets to have abortions and you don't.
I wish that they would actually go and ask the Amazonian riverfish how she feels about it.
And
if she changed her mind yet. See if she changed her mind yet. I'd totally be interested in what she actually thinks about a woman now.
Indeed, this would be quite the scene. Of course, she won't do that because then she'd get caught, and then the entire internet would be just filled with video of this.
Oh, the internet would frickin' blow up, dude. It would blow up. So this actually came out yesterday from the President of the United States of America. Yes, the most legitimate president ever.
Potato.
That potato.
Yes, they're just
We do not know whether this draft is genuine or whether it reflects the final decision of the court.
Well, we literally
With-
just had
We
freaking
literally
the
do
Chief
know
Justice
now.
say, "Oh yeah, this is real," and you can look at the document, and it says it's from February 2022.
Obviously,
It's just legit.
this was produced yesterday. From POTUS at 8:45 in the morning. He put it up. I really don't believe that it was him. I believe it was probably somebody that works for him that actually put this up.
Oh yeah, my God! He just
But
get up at
you know,
8:45
it's
in the morning.
no,
Holy
8:45 in the morning. He didn't even shoot. He didn't even poop his pants yet.
No. He hasn't.
First, my administration
He may
argued
have done that
strongly
earlier
before
in
the
the
court.
night. But
Well,
anyways, we won't get into
That was
particulars of
after
the
being
draft.
cleaned up again, and put another diaper on, and
Oh, so that
all
okay?
whatever.
Well, right, of course.
yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, he was good because those diapers last for 8 to 12 hours.
Oh well. Okay. Okay. Well.
Fucking gross. First, my administration argued strongly before the court in defense of Roe v. Wade. We said that Roe is based on a long line of precedent recognizing the 14th Amendment's concept of personal liberty against government interference with intensely personal decisions.
Oh my
I
God!
believe-
Kill me now. What are these jabs that Biden just put out and said in September of last year that
We can't
everybody
talk about
in the
that.
federal workworkse has to be jabbed up their rear end 15 times?
My body, my choice.
Oh, but wait.
Oh no! Wait a minute. I don't know when I'm supposed to actually use that term and when I'm not.
Only when CNN tells you to.
Oh, okay. CNN. Yes, I forget about this place. That's
Yes. Remember,
that's
don't
distinguishing
do your
its-
own research. It's very troublesome.
extinguishing itself right now as we speak.
Literally.
Right? I believe that the women's right to choose the fundamental Roe has been the law of the land for almost 50 years, and basic fairness and the stability of our law demand that it not be overturned. Second, shortly after the enactment of the Texas law SB 8 and other laws restricting women's reproductive rights, I directed my Gender Policy Council and White House Counsel's Office to prepare options for the administration response to be continued attack on abortion and reproductive rights. Under the variety of possible outcomes in the cases pending before the Supreme Court, we will be ready when any ruling is issued. Third, if the court does overturn Roe, it will fall on our nation's elected officials at all levels of government to protect a woman's right to choose, and it will fall on the voters to elect pro-choice officials this November.
Of course,
At
they're
the
already
federal
drafting
level.
laws in Congress. They've already talked about it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Where they're gonna try to make it like abortion all the time, on demand, anytime, anywhere, across the country, and you can't, a state can't say no to it, or a city can't say no to it.
So then his last sentence is, at the federal level, we will need more pro-choice senators and pro-choice majority in the House to adopt legislation that codifies Roe, which I work to pass and sign into law. So he's going to do whatever he can to actually get this to be an actual law, as opposed to it just being something that Scotus had pushed for the last 50 years as a rule. Because it's not really a law.
Again, right? Exactly. This is the law of the land. Where is it? Where is this in the Constitution? Where's abortion at all? How do you read abortion in the Constitution
It's
at all?
not.
Oh yeah, you can't. No one has ever been able to. Oh, it's the 14th Amendment. Well, no, that's not at all what the 14th Amendment implies. It's not at all what any of these things imply. Oh, well.
This next article really seriously hit home for me, because not that I'm really technically consider myself Catholic, but I was raised Catholic. I do believe in the Catholic religion for the most part. I'm more of Christian than I am Catholic now, but it pretty much goes along with I was raised, baptized, and confirmed to be Catholic. These rules and things that the Catholic religion actually kind of goes by, they're still set in my mind as something that is actually something that's real or whatever. Roman Catholic does not believe in abortion. Abortion goes against their religion. Straight out.
Well, Joe Biden's a Satanist, so he has nothing to worry about. What?
Yeah, well, this doesn't say that. This says only the second Roman Catholic to be elected president, Mr. Joe Biden, now finds himself thrust in the role of championing abortion rights as the Democrats' potential best path to preventing heavy defeat in upcoming midterm elections.
Oh, by the way, the tweet that you read prior, it said that my statement on da-da-da-da-da, it's from 8:45. Anybody that has to sit there and say, like, oh, this is my statement that I put out, police read it, whatever, like, at 8:45 in the morning, this guy...
Obviously not their statement.
Exactly, right, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of that, so anyways, sorry.
No, yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, exactly, it's not him, because they have to say,
yeah,
like,
it was,
this is
it was
my
some,
statement, please read it.
somebody that works for him that's
if this is Joe Biden, he just has to put the statement
making
out.
shit up.
It's like, no, you have to try to convince people this is my statement. It's like, oh, of course it's not him. So anyway, I just thought.
Biden, who attends mass almost every weekend, either you do or you don't. You can't say that you almost do. And talks often in the importance of the religious faith. No, you don't get to pick and choose which weekend you're gonna go. Either you go every weekend or you don't.
Well, I don't know how many times a week.
I make it almost every weekend.
I don't know how many times a week they have black masses.
Yourself.
I don't mean, I'm not all that tuned up with that. But,
on a regular basis,
I guess
Catholics hold religious ceremonies
No, I don't think you're hearing
2 or 3 times a week.
I said black mass. Because he's Satanist.
No, I mean, I get you.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not all that tuned up with all this. It's like, I mean, I don't know how many times you have a black mass. So it's like, oh, he goes to mass. It's like, well, he might go to a black mass. Like, I mean,
Okay, so then let's see. But with the leaked draft ruling suggesting that the Supreme Court is set to overturn the national right to the abortion enshrined in the 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling, Biden's presidency will now be defined by the most divisive of issues. Oh, really? I believe that women's rights to choose is fundamental, and basic fairness and the stability of our law demands that it not be overturned. Biden said in a statement cementing the abortion of the pillar as a pillar in the upcoming election.
Which he doesn't even know that tweet even exists, by the way. Or that statement even exists. He has no damn clue.
No, exactly. That statement was not put out by him. That was put out by his freaking
Obama
workers.
This is his third term. This is not Biden. Biden doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's just there to take up empty space, to take up the void of air there. Susan Rice and those other people from former Obama administration, they're running everything. Anyway.
In his 2007 book, Promises to Keep, Biden wrote that he was personally opposed to abortion, but didn't have the right to impose his position on society.
When was this?
So in 2007, his book of Promises to Keep. Yeah, in his own book that he wrote, he says that he was personally opposed, but didn't have the right to impose his position on society. Since when? Since when don't you have a right to bring up your own opinion?
No, he says impose his opinion. Well, I mean, he does a pretty good job of imposing his opinion with literally just about anything else. I mean, I don't know. How about like the Ministry of Truth that was created, where it's the literal opinion of the government becomes the official narrative, and if you go against it, well, then you might just get thrown in jail, sweetheart. Sorry. Like, we don't have a problem with that, but like, well, with this, we just can't force anything down people's throats. We have to protect people's privacy and everything else, and their personal bodily autonomy. And you can just see how this is just a rolling, giant, barreling
boulder of bullshit that's just rolling down the hill. Like that. I mean, this is just nothing but gaslighting this entire time. They don't give a damn about any of it. They're just blabbering shit out, hoping to get people to believe their lies and their gaslighting and their brainwashing from the media to get votes.
This last sentence here says, it's the first time, as far as I know, that the statement from him uses the word abortion, which is important to destigmatize. He was seriously hasn't brought up anything to do with abortion in the last couple years or whatever, because they know dang well that it's very, very controversial, and it's not just a Democrat or Republican thing.
That's why they frame it as
really
pro-choice or pro-women's choice or pro-women, because if you say pro-abortion, which is exactly what it is, then of course people are going to be like, well, I don't really like the idea of abortion, but women's rights. Oh my God, girl, yes. Like that's basically why they say that, because the brainwashed masses of Karen freaks will go off with their blue and pink hair flaming and burning red with like their own menstrual blood as they dye their hair with that every morning, and they go off to vote for the Democrat Party all the time.
So this next section I'm going to kind of skip through because there's a few choice words that come up in there. So this is Biden's approval ratings are stuck at a low 40% range ahead of the November midterm. Most polls show that Democrats being stripped of the power of the House of Representatives as well as the Senate, where even now they have only one extra vote, which we kind of know. We're expecting this wave to come through that's going to totally change the scene of a lot of things. The leaked opinion could galvanize support for Democratic nominees and perhaps enable Democrats to retain their thin majorities in the House and the Senate, says Carl Tobias, whoever the hell, some professor at the Richmond School of Law. I mean, who are you? Do we care who you are? Do I have to do a deep dive on Carl Tobias to see who he is? Tobias noted that the shocking leak in the opinion is usually leak-proof court illustrations and volatility of the moment and could exacerbate the political fallout by galvanizing opposition. Former Obama advisor Dan Pfeiffer said it was way too early to know if an abortion rally cry will spur Democrats to flip the midterms odds, but the fight is on, he said. There was a dumb circular debate among Democrats about whether to engage in the culture war attacks from Republicans. That debate ended with the leak of this opinion. Really?
Oh, and by the way, if you want to know who that guy is, the Carl Tobias, whatever, I mean, I'm sure there's like these conventions of, law school professors. Joe Biden would know him quite well, because remember, he was he taught law at Delaware, at some university of Delaware. What the hell was the Delaware State or whatever the hell? He was the top of his class, and he taught law there and everything. And it was so he would know, right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
That last quote really kind of you really seriously have
totally
to think about that for a second.
Never will be said as misinformation by the Ministry of Truth, the Misinformation Board for the Department of Homeland Security. Which, by the way, that in and of itself, there was no appointment by the Senate, and they created their own little thing as a result of what Elon Musk did with Twitter, literally. And so now everybody's talking about now, it's like, well, hey, you didn't even go through senatorial approval. How the hell did you just go about and just create this and just pull this department out of your ass? Like, how did this happen? Like, how exactly was your legal justification for this thing to even exist? And also, Lauren Boebert and Thomas Massie have both introduced legislation to end the Minister of Truth, and then Thomas Massie had Minister of Truth in another department or whatever, Department of Education, to
dismiss that.
If you're
as well. So
interested
there's
in what the
good
Ministry
legislation.
of Truth actually was, we actually covered that within the last, 2 days ago we covered that? You can go back and you can watch the episode from 2 days ago where we actually covered that in detail. So this was kind of an interesting little Twitter clip that I had come across. This is Elizabeth Warren. Oh my Lord. She just, Pocahontas has an issue.
I'm gonna grab a beer.
I am angry. Angry and upset? Angry and upset and determined. The United States Congress can keep Roe versus Wade, the law of the land. They just need to do it.
I've never seen you so angry. You seem to be...
This is what the Republicans have been working toward this day for decades. They have been out there plotting, carefully cultivating these Supreme Court justices so they could have a majority on the bench who would accomplish something that the majority of Americans do not want. 69% of people across this country, red states and blue states, old people and young people, want Roe versus Wade to maintain as the law of the land. We need to do that. And we have a right. Extremists, we've heard enough from the extremists. And we're tired of it. Thank you.
Senator, would you open the door for any constitutional vote?
This video, the part that I really seriously like is when this guy starts saying something.
Extremists, we've heard enough from the extremists. And we're tired of it. Thank you.
The extremists. Seriously, I mean, I watched the clip. I wish I would have actually saved it somehow, some way. Maybe I did. Maybe I'm just not thinking that I didn't do it. Maybe I did do it. Maybe I need to just go look. There was a clip that I came across from earlier where the guy actually explains how they remove pieces of the aborted child when it's that far into whatever, like they take an arm, they take another arm, they take a leg, they squish the head until the brain comes out, whatever. There's is very disgusting on what this guy actually, how he explains it. And he's like seriously sitting in Congress or whatever, sitting out in front of Congress, and the people that are sitting behind him, you should see the looks on their faces as he's explaining this and what they actually do to abort children in the third and past trimesters.
Oh my God, and it's even worse in some of these states, like in California. There's, I think is it the whole state or in certain areas in the state where a child can be considered an aborted child, or a quote unquote like a dead child or a non-life or whatever, and they'll literally they'll have the woman give birth to the child, and then they'll take the child, and then they'll literally sell the child off to have experiments done on them in these major universities and stuff. And of course, you saw that from the University of Pennsylvania, where they were grafting skin onto a live child, and they took photographs and things of it and whatever. Or maybe it was dead, or maybe it died in the process. I mean, God only knows. I mean, these people are just so evil and so disgusting and so wicked.
Talking about disgusting,
allegedly,
wicked
of course,
people.
because this is YouTube, but we know.
But I will tell you, this is my body, and nobody, you got people telling me I gotta wear a mask or don't wear a mask or do this. Everybody wants to tell me what to do, but you won't let me make my decision about my body. You are not the person to make that decision. My doctor and myself and my child.
What? Your doctor, yourself, and your child? Your child made a decision?
I mean, she's
really?
Just... I don't know.
You sick, perverted bitch.
the elevator doesn't go all the way to the top with this woman anymore at this point. And on top of that, she's just a crazy hack for wrestling anymore. It's just
not the person to make that decision. My doctor and myself and my child, that's who makes the decision. And one of the things I really want to point out before we go.
How many children do you think would make the decision to say, yeah, go ahead, take me out?
I mean, literally, like, what the hell?
Seriously, woman.
Like, this is just so damn, like, freaking stupid. Like, but again,
is
as
the
I said,
reason
like, she's just,
abortion came about.
Like half senile.
Women in this country lived forever with it being illegal. Okay? Women, when they decide something is not right for them, they're going to take it into their own hands. Well, we got tired of tripping over women in bathrooms, public bathrooms, who were giving
This lady's freaking
themselves
confused.
abortions because.
Go back a few seconds here. Look at the rest of these. They're all kind of looking at it like
abortions
what
because
are you
there was nowhere
talking
safe,
about?
nowhere clean, nowhere to go.
Blank face.
This law came about because people wanted people to have somewhere safe and somewhere clean. It has nothing to do with your religion. This is not a religious issue. This is a human issue. If you care about me as a human being, you should not.
I don't care about you as a human being. Absolutely no care at all is given for you.
Oh, three things. Getting an abortion is not easy.
Apparently it is. It's easier than you think because there's how many millions of children that have lost their lives because you decided that that's what you want to do?
Making that decision is not easy. It's not something people do lightly. It's not something that you can just do. It is a hard, awful decision that people make. And if you don't have the wherewithal to understand that, to start this conversation with, I know how hard this must be for you. If you're starting it by telling me I'm going to burn in hell, then you're not looking out for me as a human being, whether I subscribe to your religion or not. And that is not okay. We will be right back.
Y'all should go away forever because the whole thing the whole minute and 50 seconds of verbiage that just came out of you, just bile that you just spit out of your mouth is worthless. Because nobody's telling you that you can't do what you need to do. These Roe v. Wade should never have been. It should always have been up to you and your doctor, not your child, because your child doesn't have a freaking choice.
Right.
Child doesn't know yet.
And also,
you can't go and point fingers and say, the child made the decision. The child did not make a decision to kill itself. No child would.
Well, first off, this show is tagging itself. This show is a literal meme factory at this point.
It really is.
It's just a complete meme factory at this point. Like, just completely, the whole damn thing is. But on top of that, Roe, the woman that they gave the title of Roe to, right? That woman that they took to court and said, like, oh, she needs to have the right to the abortion, whatever. She never aborted her child. She backed out of it all. And
I'm going to bring that back up again.
Because she backed out of it all.
Of what it was.
And she actually gave birth to the child, and that child is still alive today.
Right.
And she became a pro-life activist. The mother did afterwards. So this whole thing of like, oh my God, like we needed to do this. We needed to, like, she didn't even get an abortion. The entire premise of this, the whole story that they tell themselves, is a lie.
Right.
It is all a lie.
No. Okay. Hold up a second with your thought and listen to this for a second. And this is where my next issue comes in.
This is my body. And nobody,
with
you got people telling me I got to wear a mask or don't wear a mask.
You got people telling me that I do or don't have to wear whatever.
I mean, at least she was ridiculous with this, because she's like, I mean, I'm not saying
but she's been fighting for the last how many years, the last 2 years of this crap, and trying to push it that you need to do what I'm telling you to do, because if you don't, then you're actually putting me at harm. Excuse me.
Right. And you can see, right? So, like, she's consistent here, but she hasn't been consistent throughout, like, her entire, as you're talking about, right? Like, beforehand, right? So, like, again, the
elevator does not go all the way up to the top of the building with this woman. Like, she just is not. She's not there anymore.
She doesn't. I
She
don't
can't
think that
make
she writes her
anything
own
consistent.
thoughts.
No, she doesn't. I mean, my God, like, she doesn't think before she speaks at all. Like, she's just. I mean, as we just pointed out, like, she's all over the place. She doesn't know what the hell's going on, and she's just screaming like lefty bantering crap. Like, the jokes write themselves with this TV show. 25 years of shit. 25 years of WMDs in Iraq. Let's protect the Clintons. Pro-abortion, pro-lefties. Like, that's all this is. And the jokes just write themselves at this point. Memes create themselves. They just spawn out of this show every time it's on the air. Like, The View. Somebody's going to come up with the insult "view you," and they're going to be like, "Oh my God, that's a horrible insult. How dare you say that about me?" like reach back and vile. You just be like, "Oh my God, you're so vile to me. How dare you?" Oh God. Oh no.
If we haven't heard enough bile come out of women's mouth tonight, you're going to listen to this one. Yes, I actually told you that this is a woman.
Well, I mean, I think she's more believable as a woman than Big Mike ever was. Just to let you know. I mean,
no, I agree with you on that one.
I mean, it's pretty obvious she's a woman, but Big Mike, it's like, I mean, guys, come on, like the shoulders, like, bigger than a linebacker. Like, let's get it. Anyway. Allegedly,
right.
Of course, right?
This lady can't even put on a dress. She has to wear pants. So, I mean, there has to be something going on.
Lose access to abortion immediately and outright. Those Republican leaders who are trying to weaponize the use of the law against women. Well, we say, how dare they? How dare they tell a woman what she can do and cannot do with her own body? How dare they? How dare they try to stop her?
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you try to tell me to do anything or change my opinion because you believe that your thoughts are the ones that are correct? Fuck yourself, bitch. Listen again.
We say, how dare they?
How dare you?
How dare they tell a woman what she can do and cannot do with her own body?
Which is why we're
how dare they?
Jabbing up women
How dare
today.
they try to stop her from determining her own future? How dare they try to deny women their rights and their freedoms? Lose access to abortion.
Freedom.
How
See, the only
dare
time
they?
they talk about freedom is the freedom to kill and the freedom to groom children and touch little children in schools. That's the only freedom you're allowed to do, is the freedom to commit crime, the freedom to commit horrific acts of immorality. That's the only freedom you're allowed to have. But you can't be free to have your own legitimate opinion about anything else outside of what the Democrat Party and the globalists and the New World Order want you to have. So that's all that's all there is to it. That's
Right. With all of that being said, yes, we're getting down to the end here. With all that being said,
if
you have an issue, right? If you have an issue with anything that was said, great, awesome. You have an opinion. Come bring it. We'll, subscribe, share, like, ring the bell, talk to us. Let us know that you joined. If you're not part of our Discord already, we'll add you to the Discord. It's currently still open to people that subscribe. If you're not, if you're already subscribed and you're not part of the Discord, let one of us know. There's 3 or 4 of us that actually have mod rights to my particular Discord, and we'll totally let you in. Totally let you in. You can hold conversations with us on a regular basis. The fun one is you get to hold conversations with people like Mike. He's like super fun to talk to. He's all kinds of just full of information. And AmericaShirts. AmericaShirts are first. This guy that's sitting right next to me.
Hello.
That guy. Yeah, you should sub to all of his stuff.
How dare you assume my gender? God, this person, I just can't get it.
Dude, stop it. So anyway, if you liked what you actually heard and you do all those things that I asked you to do, it's awesome. What you should really do is this right here, this live action. Add your name and put an end to Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade has made it nearly impossible for states to protect preborn children since 1973, sanctioning the killing of more than 63 million precious babies. But after almost 50 years of court mandating killing, and an end to this murderous madness could finally be in sight. According to leaked documents, the court is poised to overturn Roe and send the abortion issue to state legislatures to decide. Abortion activists are furious and vowing to pressure the court to change its mind in the next few weeks. We must demonstrate to them and every elected official that America is ready to thrive without the violence and malice of Roe v. Wade. Do you want to see Roe v. Wade overturned? If so, you need to act right now by adding your name to this petition. The Supreme Court is finalizing their decision, so your time's running out to add your name and say, no more abortions. We cannot let this radical pro-death lobby convince the court that they represent you. The court must stop this senseless killing of innocent. Take action today. Add your name using the form below to voice your beliefs and help out the end of Roe v. Wade. And there it is, right here. You can go fill out this information. You can send it into live action. It doesn't cost you anything. And they just need your name on the list so that way you can actually be part of the right. About things that are actually right for human beings. They're just going to sit there and kill off these babies. 63 million precious babies since 1973.
Well, don't share what I'm sharing yet, but just continue.
No, we'll get there. 63 million precious babies. How could you allow this to actually occur from 1973 on? This is disgusting and so disturbing that anybody is just okay with it. Again, if you're not okay with it, go here. I'm going to take and I'm going to drop. I'm going to take this link. I'm going to drop it right here. That just went out to anybody that's watching on the YouTube and Twitch. Go click on it. Go sign up. Go put your name out there. Let them know how you feel about such a thing. Because it's disgusting that they allow it.
Yep.
All that being said,
course,
looks like AmericaShirts has
we know
something.
why they do allow a lot of this to happen. I mean, you know. And by the way, you can let this whole thing play through and just... Because this is a unique thing that somebody put together.
34, sure.
And then, you know... as long as at the end you give them the credit
who? Well, that's what I was just going to say. Who created this?
And this is Place Boing. Do lots of remix type of things.
Okay. You should totally go and check out them and see what they do. I'm sure they got a lot more fun little. Go ahead.
I don't see him kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, succubus with goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins.
Is he wrong?
Ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. Dump it. Charging goblins' nest of goblin vomit, slop and blood on it. Especially up to his ankles. I'm charging into a goblin's nest of goblin vomit, slop. I'm not expecting him to not get dirty. Slop. Kissing goblins.
Kissing goblins.
Appreciating goblins. Succubus with goblins.
Succubus with goblins.
In bed with a goblin.
In bed with goblins.
Kissing goblins. Appreciating goblins. I just want to catch him in bed with a goblin. 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 I just want to catch him in bed with a goblin.
Oh, but wait.
Oh, hey, Brock.
Wait a minute. Remember I was saying earlier that head goblin. It's a place point. There you go. That's the remix.
Totally check them out and actually sub to their channel as well. That's awesome.
Yes. So, I mean...
In love with the goblins. Oh, some good stuff. So, all that being said, you should actually make sure that you make your way to AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com.
That is AmericaShirts.com, the most based t-shirts on the planet. Make the goblins angry when you wear the shirts. You can get 15% off any of those shirts in the store by using the discount code Koolfrogg. However, I am going to be doing some things with my website here, and I do have to switch up some of the t-shirt providers and things of this nature. So everything is probably not going to be very functional for a while, for like maybe, I don't know, like a week or so or whatever, maybe more, just to try to get everything situated because, you know, supply chain types of things and whatever. And, you know, some of the t-shirts from different providers, they're not providing certain colors or whatever, so I have to like switch that around. Different things like that. And I have to do like the old switcheroo with different things there. So, but anyways, but the designs will stay the same for the most part.
Nice.
But yeah, I just have to do some.
So then,
stuff.
you know, if you don't want to help him out immediately, just go to his website, go to the AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com and use the promo code. If you don't want to do that, you come here, you support me. Go up to, use the link like buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. You go there, you throw a donation at me, throw a statement at me, whatever. I'll totally read your statements the next day, or the next time we go live. However, if you support me enough, hey, I'll just turn it around and I'll buy shirts from him, and eventually, I don't know how long it's going to be because I'm guessing I'm going to wait until I get the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to actually monetize myself. I'll turn on a camera eventually and I'll actually model the shirts. Ooh. That sounds like fun, right? You know, face reveal.
I was thinking more of the modeling, but you know, whatever.
Oh, he was more concerned with he wants me to actually wear his shirts on the camera. The only way we can do that is if you support me, so that way I can support him.
Because I get all the money in the end. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what we need to do. Is we need to support each other. And supporting each other, you support us, we support him, he supports me. We continue to create more interesting shows day to day.
That the goblins get very upset about.
Them goblins, I tell you.
Back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Fuck Joe Biden.
Perfect.
It would just go away
Beautiful.
with that. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Later.